What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by BetOnline. The Portland Trail Blazers today beat Minnesota for the second game in a row. This time it was much less dramatic, unless you think Damian Lillard threes are dramatic, because he poured in 11 of them on 17 shots. Phenomenal game for Dame. Had a true opportunity to break the franchise record for threes in a game, but didn't play in the fourth quarter because the Blazers had things completely taken care of with a blowout win. We haven't gotten many of them this year, but today the Blazers take care of business, beating the Timberwolves 133-112. Eric, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Not too bad. Always good to be having a stream after a win.
Absolutely. So I went to the game. That's why the stream is going live a little bit late, but I got a front row view of things in person. Might be able to help me analyze things even a little bit better than I can normally do watching things on TV, like most of you are. Before we jump into things, let me thank BetOnline. If you use promo code BELIEVE over on BetOnline, you'll get 50% rewards. You can go check them out for live betting, picks against the spread, which the Blazers have been phenomenal on this year, and they take care of business. Again, they were 4-point favorites going into this one, 21-point win for the Blazers. You can go over and check them out. Parlays, live betting, not just basketball, football, playoffs right around the corner, World Cup, that's wrapping up right now, golf, they got all sorts of stuff over there on BetOnline for you guys. Anyway, Eric, so you watched the game on the TV. Also, nice Christmas tree behind you. I like that. You watched the game on TV. I watched it in person. I'll let you kind of start things off for us, though. I need to mute the intro song. Were you happy with this game? Were you happy with it on both sides of the floor? What were your takeaways?
Yeah, was happy with the effort on both ends. They, of course, had some lapses on defense, but overall, I think you'll take this performance every time.
Yep, absolutely. Very happy with this performance. Dame obviously has a huge night. Some ridiculously difficult threes, some easy threes as well. In the first half, he had 6 catch-and-shoot threes, made 6 of them, and then he had some difficult ones there in the second.
Yeah, and after the game, he was the post-game interview with Brooke, and she asked him what it was like to, kind of, I forgot how she worded it, but basically what it's like to be in the zone like that. Yeah. And he said he's like, it didn't even really feel that good. Like he just was getting shots, and that's so true. And the offense was just flowing really nicely. I mean, of course he did hit some incredible threes, but the quality of shots he was getting in this game. And then when he hit his 11th, he got 2 like wide open threes after that he missed. I think he realized at that point that he was close to the record and kind of pressed a little bit. But just an incredible performance by him. Yeah,
and I was able to listen to him talk in the locker room after the loss due to driving home from the game. But one of the things he said was he's going to get them up until it runs out, which you absolutely have to. The dude was on fire. It's not my first time witnessing Damian Lillard being on fire, man, but it never gets old. It's always quite the thrill. And he generated a buzz in the stadium that was pretty fun to experience for the first time in a while. Let me thank a couple member/donation messages, and then we'll jump into things here. Shout out Chris S. with the member message. Member for 22 months. Thank you, Chris. Says, Damian Lillard is officially washed, guys. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Dame being washed before the season, right? But then he comes back-to-back 41-point games, and okay, Dame's back. Dame's fine. And then he strains his calf. Tries to come back from that, struggles, isn't 100%, right? And then strains his calf again. And there was more talk. Oh, Dame's finally washed. Now he's back in the last 3 games, has 40 points, 36 points, 38 points. He's looking like MVP caliber Dame. And he's doing it without dominating the ball and making everything happen. He's just kind of playing off guys. But right now, he's an absolute sniper. His 3-point shot's dialed in. And he doesn't even have to work too hard for a lot of these shots, which is phenomenal. And, will help keep him fresh and help him go on stretches like this. Dame's fine. Never understood why people called him washed before the season because of an injury last year. Didn't understand why people called him washed after seeing him drop 41 on back-to-back nights earlier this year. Didn't make sense. Dame's fine. He's back. He's as Damian Lillard as he's ever been. And I love to see it.
Yep, and so the last 3 games he's averaging 38 points, like you just listed his last 3 games. But to average 38 points without scoring over 40, like 40 is the biggest game, that's incredible consistency. And it's also weird that last game he was a free throw merchant, getting to the line 15 times. Tonight, it's 1 free throw off a foul from out of bounds, so it wasn't even on like an actual drive or anything like that. So, yeah, 1 free throw, and he still scores 38 points on how many shots? 17 or something?
Yeah, 21 shots, 17 threes.
17 threes.
Which means he only shot 4 shots from inside the arc. He was 2 for 4 inside the arc. That's part of the reason he only got 1 free throw. But he was basically just kind of floating around, running off a lot of screens. I thought they ran some solid stuff for him off the ball. I really liked the way that he was able to get his 3-point looks. It was always confusing to me because in the past, Eric, me and you had always debated with some people that disagree with us on, I think Dame would be great off the ball. He's an efficient catch-and-shoot shooter. His catch-and-shoot stats showcase that. And a lot of people said that he needed the ball in his hands, like he would never embrace playing off the ball more, all sorts of stuff like that. Like he needs to, shoot these shots off the dribble, off pick and rolls in order to get a rhythm or whatever. It didn't really make sense to me, but that was people's argument. This year, he's played a lot more off the ball, and it's resulted in some phenomenal games where he's had some of the easiest 36, 38, 41-point performances he's ever had in his career, where he's not having to beat 3 defenders off the dribble and contort his body through a rim protector and finish, and then shoot a 3 that's a step back, super contested. He can still do that. He proved that in the Denver game, but he's able to have some easy 36, 38, 40-point performances. And when I was driving home, he had a quote that said that he basically said, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, me playing off the ball is how we're going to be most successful. And obviously it doesn't mean all the time, but him being able to play off of Jerami Grant and Anfernee Simons especially is how the team's going to be most successful. And it makes it hard to guard because it's harder to load up on Damian Lillard or completely game plan him out of a game for a defense if he's running off screens, he's playing off the ball, and then you got 2 stars to worry about in Anfernee Simons and Jerami Grant who can pick you apart as well. Jerami Grant, big second half. And we've seen that for years with Steph, with Clay. That's how they've been able to make a living. And Steph's been very hard to slow down in the playoffs because you can't just send a trap on at him off a pick and roll and there's nothing else that he's going to do, right? It would be easy to take him out of the game if that was the case, but he moves so well off the ball, flies off screens. It's really hard to take him out of a game. And that's been the problem with Damian Lillard in previous years is you're able to trap him, you're able to send multiple defenders at him. It's too pick and roll and high isolation heavy, and he's struggled in some playoff series because of that. But this year, it's completely changed. He looks completely comfortable doing it. And in the long run, this is the offense that will succeed in the playoffs. This is the type of stuff that's hard to guard. You can't really game plan him out of a game if he's playing more off the ball compared to how he was utilized in seasons past. So that has me extremely excited. Being able to watch him go off like this in the way that he did, I think it showcases that this team is figuring out the right things offensively. This team is going to be just fine offensively. It's going to be an elite offensive team, in my opinion, and then in the playoffs it should translate.
Yep. So a couple stats that back that up. One is that the Blazers have the number 1 offense in December so far, so through 12 days of December. Very encouraging sign. Now, if we can get the defense to be, somewhat close to the top 10, top 15-ish, it's on then. But then on top of that, Dame this year is now up to 63.6% on his true shooting percentage, which is the highest in his career again now. Yeah. So all those arguments we had a few weeks ago when he dipped below after those 1 or 2 bad games, now it's right back to where it was before those games, and that's the highest efficiency of his career. And as Trevin pointed out in chat, it's 73.4% in December so far.
Yeah, that's insane. And we're talking about a dude who was supposed to be rusty coming back, right? And then he wasn't 100%. I think, in that middle stretch, right? Because he's had 3 stretches of play. One was the start of the season. The second was after the first calf injury before the second. And the third stretch is now. That second stretch, I don't think he was 100%. And he had a couple of terrible shooting games, really dragging down those percentages, man. He's still having the most efficient year of his career. After this game, he may be scoring at the highest rate in terms of like points per possession in his career. And his playmaking, I think, has actually been really good, setting up guys like Ant, setting up guys like Jerami Grant. Now, in this game, only 3 assists. He played more off the ball. But that's the thing, is the best version of Damian Lillard, I always thought, was a guy scoring in this way, right? But then also, you can still give him the ball and he can still run the offense. He's had games of 10, 11, 12 assists. He can set up guys like Ant and Jerami Grant. If he's not able to get going off the ball, maybe they're guarding those actions well, then you can give him the ball and he will still make things happen. That's what the best players do. But against teams like this, you gotta be able to run them off the ball and get them looks like that. That's how Steph Curry makes a killing, man. And that's the thing, is watching this game in person. I've seen Steph Curry go off in person, but just watching it in person, it's like it was reminiscent of that. And never have I felt like a Dame game is truly reminiscent of Steph per se, because Dame's always having these huge games attacking off the dribble, and he'll dribble the ball 5-6 times, some sort of ISO size up type of stuff, and then the between the legs step back or something like that, right? So I mean, it's just hard to guard him when he's running off screens the way he did today, when he's playing off the ball the way he did today. And it was like completely effortless for him. So 29 minutes, 38 points, plus 24. It's crazy efficient.
Love the 29-minute part of that. So I think we had, 32 assists tonight. So usually you would say, oh man, he was probably playing hero ball, right? If he only had 3 assists. Yeah. But tonight, the ball moved well. He was getting good shots because of passing. They ran some pretty sets. They were sharing the ball, and when we were missing, they were crashing the offensive boards and making Minnesota pay that way.
Yeah,
I can't believe that in the second half they were still running drop on him.
It made no sense, dude. Minnesota made no freaking sense.
Yeah.
There was a play where Justice Winslow drove, and Dame was in the opposite corner. And it was Winslow driving against D'Angelo Russell. And I don't know if Gobert was in the game, but whoever the center was there to help.
It was Nasri.
Yeah, okay, Naz Reid was there to help. The guy guarding Dame in the corner completely left him to run as the third defender towards a Justice Winslow drive. It's like, why the hell are you worrying so much about Justice Winslow driving? You got Dame hot as hell, and you're leaving him to go guard Justice Winslow, huh?
And Naz Reid ran out there, had to run out to cover for that guy. He didn't get there in time, obviously.
Yeah, I wonder who that was, man, because that was one of the most baffling things I saw in person, because I watched the whole setup to that play. I noticed Dame was in the corner, and then Justice driving. Justice starts to drive. I'm like, oh, God, what is he going to do? I see the dude run from the corner. It was hilarious.
I didn't clip that one for Brandt's breakdown, but I have another one that was along that same level that you're going to enjoy during Brandt's breakdown later.
Yeah, Minnesota, man, is cooked. Because here's the thing with the Timberwolves. They have played one of the easiest schedules in the league. They're 13-14. Cat's out for a while. Their body language looks terrible. Yeah, I don't think that team is going to be in the first round. They might be in the play-in, but I don't think they're going to play their way into the first round. And I was super high on them before the year. Defensively, I just like, how does Gobert slow down Dame? You know what I mean? Gobert is the guy to fix their defense, but when you got Damian Lillard, Anfernee Simons, what's Gobert going to do against them? He's going to protect the rim, but I mean, shoot, there were possessions where Gobert looked like a statue. You know what I mean? Like, Gobert ain't fixing that defense like I thought he was going to. Minnesota sucks. Just flat out simple. And they might turn it around when ruled against them, but this is a bad team. And you look at their next 10 games, it's very, very difficult. So this is the type of wins you got to get at home against a bad team, because at this point, I'm willing to say Minnesota is a bad team.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with it, at least so far. We'll see if I don't know if they can make a move outside of trading one of their starters. But yeah, they definitely need something. And they're definitely missing a player like Patrick Beverley, who like set the tone and the mindset for them. That's a lot of what we talked about with our struggles last year. Remember not having that guy who just can get everyone going when they're seemingly lethargic like they were tonight. I don't see any like leader on that team that's capable of doing that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
them.
You need guys that can defend on the ball. And the problem is that we've talked about with the Blazers, they don't really have anybody like that right now. But I think just as a team, they defend better, which is promising because Minnesota just seemed confused, man. It was strange to see because it's just you add Gobert and look worse defensively. It's kind of baffling to me. But losing Patrick Beverley, I think, as you said, made a difference. We've talked about all last year. We talked about how the Blazers need a dog on defense, a guy to set it from an energy standpoint. Well, we acquired one of those guys. I'll talk about him in a second because I want to move on and talk about a specific role player that I just loved tonight, Eric. But first, donos. Michael V, $5 dono says, do you smell what Wayne is cooking? It smells like wolf, baby. Let's go. And then in parentheses, also we tolerate zero Nurk slander. Thank you, Michael V, for the $5 dono. Yeah, Twitter was weird today after the game. We'll talk about that when we get to Nurk. But yeah, I didn't understand that. Shout Connor, $20 dono. Huge dono. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate you, man. It says, watching Dame go off in person never gets old. One free throw. Thank you, Connor, for the $20 dono. Sorry I couldn't meet up with you at the game. I just completely forgot. And also, no, you didn't say anything to me. You could have texted me. He has my number, man. Yeah. And he could text me, or he could message me on Discord. By the way, if you're not in our Discord, shameless segue, Eric. Link in description box below for our Discord. He could have got in contact with me.
Blow off your fans, man.
Man. Connor's not a fan. He's a brother. He's a mod, so he's like technically family. If you're a mod, you're family. Even if we haven't heard what your voice sounds like, Trevin. But shout out to Connor. Jordan Baker, $5 GG hippopotamus sticker.
What's up, Jordan? Thanks for the donut.
I accidentally lowered my chair. People in our stream earlier today were talking about how I look short on camera.
Now it's all in your head, huh?
Yeah, so I got to raise my chair. They're saying
because you put a phone book in there.
Well, no, I can raise my chair. I can raise and lower my chair. I will never, as a man, I will never sit on a phone book. I've never needed to. I'm 6'4". That's not a lie. But people earlier today were like, yes, as the camera pans down at me and points up at you for the most part, it makes me look super short, and people were saying I look 5'7". I will tell chat that I'm 6'4", and then I'll meet people that watch me, and they're like, oh, wow, you're really 6'4"? Like, no, I'm not lying. It always cracks me up. Like, yes, I'm 6'4". Shout Jordan Baker with the $5 hippo, though.
Before you get to Carter's donation, because it's going to bring up another topic here. Yeah. But one more thing about the Dame off-ball thing. Remember about a year ago when the offense was struggling and they kind of reverted back to letting Dame play on the ball more, and people were saying it's not going to work out. We need to go back to the Stotts fence and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like this is why you can't just abandon it after a few games and think that a method that hadn't worked when it mattered was going to eventually work. You had to mix it up a little bit. And that's always a fallback option. You can always run pick and roll. You can always run Dame ISOs and play hero ball at any point. You don't have to force it throughout the whole game or whole season, though.
Yep, exactly. Agreed. Shout Carter to the... dude, I'm losing track of my... Sorry, I'm like trying to talk to chat and trying to talk out loud. I'm trying to type to chat. Shout Carter Dick. $10 dono says, I understand why he did it, but watching Damian sit the whole fourth quarter felt like Chauncey was taking a baseball bat to my gonads. Def would've caught Clay. Or Def could've. I like would've better. Def could've caught Clay. Eric, what are your thoughts about that? And Carter, thank you for the $10 dono.
I 100% agreed with the decision not to put Damian back in. He got hit in the thigh and was hobbling a little bit at the end of the third quarter. He had a chance. Chauncey kept him in still, which might have been the wrong move. As soon as he got hit in the leg, he probably should have came out. I know it's not fun, Taylor, but like, if you guys care more about a 3-point record in a game in December versus the long-term health of Damian Lillard, then that's just insane to me. I don't know how anyone could, like, honestly say that, short of course, it's entertainment and you want to see history from our guy Dame. But, like, no one should want to have to risk Dame's health to set that. And he had a chance to hit a couple threes and he missed them. So Chauncey gave him a chance. He didn't make them. And then he did the right thing and set him out.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he just got kneed on the quad.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what?
I mean,
just
he was
a bruise?
Yeah, he was sitting there with an ice pack on it on the bench, though. Like, it was definitely bothering him. He was, like, holding it. He was limping a little bit.
Yeah, definitely probably just a bruise if you have an ice pack on it. And it looked like he tried to rip through on Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson's knee was there. Nothing to worry about. But yeah, I mean, you don't hunt a record. Let it happen, right? And it sucks because it's like, oh, if we just played a little worse, he could have had the chance. You know, so it's almost like people wanted Minnesota to start scoring on our defense so that Dame would have to get subbed back in and score. But, I mean, get him as much rest as you can get him. Like, he will have more opportunities to break that record, especially being able to get threes up the way he's getting them up right now. This is his third time with 11 threes in a game. And I don't know, like, I don't want him to hunt it. And he said after the game, he doesn't want to go in there and hunt it. He wants it to happen within the flow of the game and happen naturally. That makes it even more impressive, in my opinion. You don't want to go full Devin Booker, where it's like, okay, we're going to get this dude 70, even though we have to sell out the whole fourth quarter for it. And then once Devin Booker gets 70, people clown him and the team for it because of how bad they hunted that 70-point game for him. Like, weren't they like fouling at the end to get the ball back quicker and weird stuff like that? Yeah. Like, the records are a ton of fun. I want to see Dame break as many records as possible. I want Dame to break Wilt's 100-point record in a game, but
or at least Kobe's 81.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But you don't want to overdo it and hunt it. You know, you don't want to hunt it too much. So I'm cool with it. Nice to see him get some rest. 38 points in 29 minutes is phenomenal. The efficiency was phenomenal. It was phenomenal to watch. I like the word phenomenal in case you can't tell. Yeah, he'll have more big games this year. Maybe he'll have 12. Maybe he'll have 13. Maybe he'll have 16 threes. I don't know. I can't rule any of that out. I just like the way that they're playing with him right now. Nice to get him some rest. Nice to not have to overplay these guys, because these guys played a ton of minutes a couple of nights ago. The first game against Minnesota. And we've been talking about how we need to rest these guys a little bit more, not overplay them too much. So this is nice.
They have a day off tomorrow, then 6 games on the road in 10 nights. So
yeah,
gotta make, like, it would have been very foolish, I think, to put him back in the game just to chase a record with that upcoming road trip. Maybe if we had 3 days off after this game or something, that's one thing. But this is a very important road trip leading up to Christmas for us.
Yeah, like I understand wanting him to hunt it. I was sitting there like, get your threes up, Dame, shoot it. Like, I was sitting there in the stadium hoping that he shot a 3 every time. Right. Like, if you sat next to me, you would have heard me say, just pull from half. I just wanted him to pull from half. Like, I didn't care. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was so hot.
When he hit, I forgot which one, if it was 10 or 11. Yeah, he pulled from pretty deep. And it went, like, in and out.
In and out, dude. That was so deep.
I was, like, hoping he just pulled up from, like, All-Star Game half court on that.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious on the broadcast. Lamar heard there was that stretch where they hit like 4 threes in a row, but none of them were Dame.
Yeah, it was like Justice, Hart, Jerami.
Jerami hit one, and then Hart and Justice hit one, and then Jerami hit another one.
Yeah, that should have been an and one.
And I think it was on the second Jerami one, Lamar's like, no, he had Dame wide open in the corner, even though he made it.
Yeah. There's one that Josh took where Dame was open too, and there's people around me saying, pass the ball, even though Josh had made a couple threes. Nice to see
Yeah.
Josh shooting threes, by the way. By the way, that is a segue. That's the next guy I want to talk about. But Caleb Pendergraph, $2 dono, says, win by 20 with Dame not playing 30 minutes is amazing. Thank you, Caleb, for the $2 dono. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about we want to blow out a team because we never blow out teams. We never maintain leads. And then we want to get these guys a little bit more rest. Well, we accomplished both of those tonight and got a win over a team in the Western Conference who, if they figure things out, could be battling with us for seeding. And we lead the season series against them 2-0. So in good position for that tiebreaker. And we're only one game behind Phoenix for home court advantage. We're 3.5 games back out of first right now. Like we're in a pretty good spot despite the struggle where we lost like 7 out of 8 games and we were missing Dame, which obviously hurt us. Still, we're doing just fine. We played a tough schedule. Some things got fixed, but dude, this team is crazy talented. Crazy talented. And you got this dude leading the way. He's a true superstar.
Devin asks that later on when we get to our next 5 game stats and stuff. Yeah.
I need to make graphics for those since I'll have those coded, but the other graphics I have coded now. That's why the text here maybe looks not as fancy as before because we don't got Krishan graphics no more. We got them coded so they're automatically ready to go. The next guy I wanted to talk about, Eric, was Josh Hart. Statistically, like 3 for 7, 2 for 3 from 3. You love to see that. He's shooting the 3 ball a little bit more, being a little bit more aggressive, which is nice. But screw the stats. This dude plays so freaking hard, and I absolutely love it. Like, dude plays his ass off, man. And it's fun to watch. It's like the type of thing that you can tell more watching it in person up close than being able to tell it on a TV monitor. Like, there was that play where D'Angelo Russell got hurt. Nurkic, with good defense. Nurkic was, I thought, really good tonight. Good defense, saves the ball. Josh Hart runs it down. A couple of his rebounds, hustle boards, like getting deflections. I love how hard Josh Hart plays, man. And I just wanted to say that. It's not even analysis or anything. It's just, I love that we got a dog on our team because I thought the contrast between kind of our energy and Minnesota's was drastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely drastic. And it's like, I'm watching them like, wow, I bet they wish they had a Josh Hart type of guy right now. And that was us last year. So it's nice to have that type of guy right now.
Absolutely. Quality game from Hart. I don't want him taking any like mid-range shots anymore. Those turnovers have not been good this year. But outside of that, yeah, it's you gotta love his effort out there, especially how well he rebounds. I mean, when you think about it, 7 rebounds is low for him. So yeah, it's just I mean, I think he's been solid all year. I like that he was a little bit more on ball tonight than he had been in recent games. And you feel good that we're going to get to loose balls and rebounds when he's on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like that he's shooting the 3 with a little bit more confidence. Nice to see him make a couple because he was 3 for 3 last game, right? Or was that the game before?
It was one of the last couple games.
Yeah, 3 for 3. Tonight, 2 for 3. Nice to see him knocking down some threes, man, because that's crucial for this team because he'll get some open threes, and I thought looked more like the type of player he was last year in how confident he was shooting them. So I think that'll be big for this team going forward if you can get Josh Hart to find his niche, because obviously he's like the 4th, 5th option in the starting lineup. Last year he was like the 1st or 2nd, depending on if Simons was playing in the few games that Josh Hart played in a Blazer uniform. So obviously he's not going to shoot as much. It's just finding that fine line between being aggressive enough but still being more of a facilitator for the super talented offensive players he has around him. Because finding that fine line will make the Blazers a super dangerous team, with Josh Hart being somebody you got to respect behind the three-point line, off the dribble. Like, he can make you pay if you just think you can hide somebody against him or you think you can sag off him. But then he can pass the ball. He can play that facilitatory role. So that's what I'm hoping for, is he's able to find that fine line. Because it's hard. It's hard to know how aggressive you should be without being too over-aggressive or, being too passive at times. So I'm hoping he's figuring that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Eric, I'll let you choose next topic that you want to talk about. Whatever you want to touch upon. And I'll have the team stats up in like 10 minutes or so.
You have all the player cards, though?
Yeah, I have all the player cards.
Let's go to Jerami Grant next, then.
All right, Jerami Grant, 24 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 7 for 7 from the free throw line. What did you think of him tonight?
Man, I thought he was really good. When Dame and Ant are receiving a ton of attention, it's so nice to have him in there. And they made some good passes when he had smaller guys sealed. He had some nice drives to the basket, was super aggressive, letting that 3-point shot fly. Just really solid game from him. I thought nothing really stood out, but I don't know, just having him on the court, shooting efficiently, knocking down threes, and help space the floor for the two guards is really good.
Yeah, I thought defensively, there's some moments he was terrible getting through screens, but there was a couple possessions where I thought he was a little bit better getting through screens. But once again, got the matchup against D'Angelo Russell. But offensively, I mean, this dude is phenomenal. 3 for 6 from 3, gets the line 7 times, knocks down his free throws. That really impressive dunk he had. Maybe that wasn't that impressive to people, but just the way he's able to get to the rim and then just finish strong like that is fun to watch. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a quiet 24, I felt like. He had that hot stretch where he knocked down a couple threes, but we almost expect Jerami Grant to have a game like this now, and it's almost to the point where it's like, okay, cool, he had 24. He, didn't even... I don't know. I feel like I'm How do I word this? I feel like I'm at the point where I'm not super impressed when he has a 24-point game. And that's crazy to say because it's look at the forwards we've had in the past where it's 24 points would have been insane to have. If Al-Farouq Aminu has 24 points, it's a huge night for him. And if we were doing post-game shows back then, we'd sit here talking about Aminu had 24. That was so huge for this team. But when Jerami Grant has 24 because he's such a high-caliber player at this point, playing an all-star, it's okay, cool, Jerami Grant had a Jerami Grant game, 24, nice, good job. But it's still impressive, man, if you really compare it to what we've had.
Absolutely. I've been really impressed with how quick he gets to the rim once he gets near it. That it wasn't something that I had really seen a lot from him in previous years. Now, maybe it's because I didn't watch a ton of him on offense on Detroit. Most of my focus was on defense just to see how that would fit in Portland.
Yeah.
But when he drives and he actually attacks the rim and gets there quickly, you don't think he's going to get a quality shot, and all of a sudden he's dunking around 3 people. And that's a huge advantage to have someone that can finish inside like that as well as hit the 3.
Yep. I'm feeling this team in terms of the 3 guys we got. Honestly, our starting lineup I'm really happy with in general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with Hart's role. Yeah, obviously, if you could get a better starting small forward than Josh Hart, you do it. Better point of attack defender and whatnot. But, I'm really happy with our starting lineup. And that extends to everyone. Because Yusuf Nurkic, I think, has been playing great basketball lately. He has 14 points, 4 assists, 16 rebounds, a steal as well. 4 for 8 from the field, missed 2 threes that he took with 6 for 9 from the free throw line. But defensively, I thought he had some really good moments in this game, rebounding the ball pretty well as well. Kind of matched what Gobert gave the Timberwolves, and that dude's being paid $40 million a year, and they gave up 3-4 first-round picks for him, so I'll absolutely take that. What'd you think of Nurkic today?
Yeah, I thought he actually had 3 turnovers all on offensive foul screens. Maybe they didn't give him one of those. But, I thought he was solid. I think he was 1 for 4 to start the game because he missed those 2 threes. But, yeah, just another good, solid game for Nurkic. I think I don't understand why people don't feel good about Nurkic's play lately. But I think he's been really good.
So that's great screens, can pass. that helps a guy like Dame get going. He looks for a guy like Dame instead of his own offense. But then has been shooting the 3-ball decently this year. Yeah, he did miss both threes he took, but now he's a guy that can shoot those threes, and you're okay with it. Gets to the line 9 times, puts Gobert in foul trouble, drew a couple fouls on Gobert, and then the rebounding is huge. 16 boards is a good rebounding night. So he does a lot of the little things. He had a lot of deflections today as well. So go ahead.
He had that 1-2 where he faked the 3, got Gobert in the air and drove by him, and I forgot if he got fouled or had an and one or what, but took it all the way to the basket. It was kind of awkward, but you don't get that lane if you're not being respected as a 3-point shooter. So that was another sign that his 3-point shooting is now being effective in terms of the way people have to come out on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Do you want to touch on the Nurk slander that was on Twitter today, or you want to kind of move past that?
I mean, I just see lots of people saying that we're a good rim protector away from being a defensive team, and that Nurk isn't it. Like, oh, everyone else is awesome and Nurk's mid, type of thing. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like people. I'm not trying to like insult anyone, but it's like people don't know how to watch whether he's effective or not. They just assume he's not if the other team scores because he was involved in the pick and roll or whatever. But one thing, okay, this is going to sound like Drew Eubanks slander. Drew had a great game, and we'll talk about. Probably should talk about him next. But so night and day difference in this game if you were watching just Nurkic and Eubanks on defense, and that is Nurkic only switched or overhelped as a last resort if he absolutely had to. Eubanks switches before he has to and without it being necessary, and overhelps without, I don't know what he's thinking sometimes, jumping certain players. That's another one of my breakdowns tonight. So, like, I don't understand that people aren't seeing that, like, Nurkic is playing these pick and rolls perfectly, in my opinion, and no one else really is. I don't understand how having a different center in here would change that. It's more likely that it would be someone that's not quite as smart positional wise, that would allow teams to go off even more. I don't know. Especially with our bad screen navigation, he's like the only thing preventing it from being a much bigger problem.
Yeah, let me just say this. You can tell bad analysis in terms of somebody trying to talk about rim protection if they start their argument with blocked shots.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you're talking about people
That's
will be
like
like
a non-starter for me.
Yeah, people will be like, Miles Turner, much better rim protector. He averages 2 blocks a game. Nurkic averages 1 or something. You're talking about the difference of 1 possession in a 48-minute game is the night and day difference between a poor rim protector and a good rim protector. And it's a point that I went on last post-game show. People overrate the hell out of block shots in terms of rim protection because for a number of reasons, and I don't really want to spend another 20 minutes trying to explain this, but you're talking about Nurkic and Miles Turner playing 60, 70 defensive possessions a game. What's the difference of 2 blocks versus 1, right? Maybe that 60, 70 is a little over-exaggerative, but still, there's so much more to defense than just blocking shots as a rim protector that I explained last post-game show. So hopefully you were able to catch the last post-game show.
Well, yeah, like, how many blocks did Eubanks end up having? Do you want to switch to his card?
Yeah, let me.
You have 2 or 3?
2 blocks.
Okay, so, yeah, 2 blocks. So I remembered it correctly. All right, so one of Eubanks' blocks, a great block, but he gets blown by after switching onto D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell goes right by him, has a lay-in, Drew, great recovery block. We get the rebound. So it's a block shot, right? It was a good defensive play. But like Nurkic probably isn't letting Russell get to the rim on that. So Russell probably shoots like a fadeaway or a step back 15-footer on him like he did several times. So like it's just a difference because like a lot of players are like Drew's not going to be able to recover, like say that's John Morant or something in the playoffs, who's like a step quicker than D'Angelo Russell. Drew's not going to be able to recover in time on that blow by.
And if he's switching, they will hunt him.
Right, exactly. Which is what Minnesota should have done this whole game. But it's still like a good play. Like it's a good block. But like just because he had a blocked shot on that play and Nurk didn't block a shot, but he maybe forced a horrible shot and we got the rebound on it, it doesn't mean that he's not a good rim protector or not a good defender or whatever. Like people need to realize that. And then the second block Drew had, amazing block. He has Rudy Gobert trying to pack it on him. He blocks his shot. But what happens? The ball goes right back to Rudy Gobert and he scores. Like,
yep.
So like, did it really matter that he blocked his shot? Like, yeah, it was awesome, but like he still scored anyway. So like his two blocks, one of them was okay, good recovery, and one of them ended up being meaningless. So like it says, oh, he averaged 2 blocks this game, but like, like he still got scored on that one time. So like, does it really matter?
Yeah, absolutely. And how many times in this game did Nurkic just go straight up, not block a shot, but force a miss, and then we got the rebound? Because there was 4 or 5, maybe 6 times that happened in this game, where Nurkic just went up tall, didn't foul, didn't block a shot, forced a miss on the interior, and then we're collecting the rebound. So I'd rather have that than him blocking a shot back to Rudy Gobert, and then Rudy Gobert goes up and finishes. You know what I mean? Not to say blocks are bad. Blocks aren't bad. Blocks are good, obviously. But there's the point is there's so much more to it that Nurkic will do, but it's not flashy, so people don't notice it.
Yeah.
Nurkic has been a good defensive player this year. I will go out. I don't care if people think that's a hot take or that's bold or think that I'm just defending Nurkic because I love myself some Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic has been a good defensive player this year. Positionally, he's been very, very solid. He had multiple deflections in this game on lob passes. He's in the right spot more often than not. Doesn't get lost. I think he's probably a better communicator than Drew. It just seems like everybody else is more so on the same page with Nurkic out there on the floor. But of course, that's just speculation. I can't hear the guys. Unfortunately, I didn't sit close enough tonight. I wish I could have sat courtside. I would have heckled Rudy Gobert. But Nurkic's defense goes undervalued because it's not flashy. It's effective though.
Yeah, and like I said, this isn't a knock on Eubanks, because obviously, when you auto switch as much as Eubanks is doing, it can't be going against what Chauncey's wanting him to do. So like obviously they feel comfortable with Eubanks or that he's mobile enough to switch on to smaller guards. I don't get it. It's just like the Jerami Grant thing with me. But Eubanks, given the situations he's being put in after he has to switch, and everything else he's doing, he's finishing well. Tonight he was pretty good on screens and just getting into good spots in the flow of the offense, stuff like that. So like this, like I said, I'm not trying to knock Eubanks. It's like he's playing about as good as he's capable of playing lately. So yeah, I think he's fine as the backup center. It's just weird to me that people still think like we'd be better off with Eubanks over Nurk and stuff like that. It's crazy to me. You're muted.
I stuttered over my words anyway. It was a good mute there. You don't want Eubanks in the starting lineup. No way. Rebounding wise, he's nowhere near Nurkic's level. People don't seem to value rebounding because a lot of people seem to want Miles Turner, who helped give up 29 offensive rebounds the other night to Brooklyn in a bad loss. Like, rebounding is very important, and for some reason, people undervalue it when it comes to our bigs. Nurkic, 25 minutes, 16 boards. Eubanks, 17 minutes, 4 rebounds. Plus...
He stole one of them from Jerami. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw that. But Jerami doesn't really want rebounds anyway, so... but Nurkic also boxes out better, too. Like, that's the thing, is you can maybe make the argument, oh, well, Eubanks is boxing out and letting other guys grab the boards. That's not the case. The team rebounds better with Nurkic on the floor. I'm sure there's a stat out there that backs it up that, Reese could find or something, but the rebounding is a lot better with Nurkic on the floor. The screen setting is a lot better with Nurkic on the floor. Nurkic, I trust a lot more with the ball up top. I mean, we saw Drew Eubanks have a couple of terrible passes in this game. One right to a defender, one right out of bounds. That they were saying got tipped, but I'm not sure it got tipped, and like he was throwing an overhead pass to Dame who was like 2 feet away from him, which is just weird. In an offense that flows, you need a 5-man that's able to catch the ball and make a quick decision and make it the right decision. I trust Nurkic in that, doing that a lot more, if he gets past the ball, being able to flip sides of the floor, catch it, swing it, that sort of thing. It's not flashy and people won't value that, but that matters if you're going to move the ball. You don't want a 5-man who catches the ball at the top and then needs time to process what's going on and then swing it, because at that point, then, Damian Lillard run pass away is being denied and he has to backdoor cut. And if you don't have trust in Eubanks to throw that pass, then what? That cut is meaningless, right? And that's how you get an offense that's bogged down. So, my whole thing with Nurkic, and this is why I like him a lot, is he does a lot of little things that don't get valued, but works, especially with the guys we have in the starting lineup. Not hating on Eubanks, he's a bench center for a reason. Nurkic is a starter, Eubanks is a bench center for a reason. Eubanks has been solid so far this year, and he had a really good stretch there. He finishes strong, energy guy, he does some things well. So this isn't necessarily to criticize Eubanks, it's more so this is why Yusuf Nurkic is the starting center of this team, and this is why I like Yusuf Nurkic being the starting center of this team. Obviously, if he could be Joel Embiid, or we could go out and get Joel Embiid, then we'd have Joel Embiid, and we'd be the favorites in the league to win the championship. But for $17 million a year, when you got Rudy Gobert on the other side getting paid more than twice that, I take Yusuf Nurkic at $17 million a year, because Rudy Gobert hasn't done anything for this Timberwolves team. I still think he's a really good player, good defensive guy, but I mean, I'd rather be paying Nurkic what we're paying him than paying Rudy Gobert that, especially after giving up all the assets to go out and get him. So the Nurkic slander doesn't make sense to me. I just feel like people aren't realizing some of the positives that he brings to the table.
Yeah, and Eubanks also had that really nice move where he drove and took his body right to Gobert and cleared him out and then laid it in. So he's doing some nice things. He's finishing well around the basket. It's nice to have a backup center that can get up, and he's catching some nice passes. He's making himself available around the rim, and he goes up and dunks it hard. And we haven't had a lot of a lot of people don't think of Eubanks as like a rim running big, but he can definitely get up and throw it down. So, yeah, it's nice to have them complement each other. I still don't understand why people have to make it out to be pitting them against each other. And yeah, you can read off the next dono because it kind of ties into what the other part of what I was going to say.
Yep. Shout out BC with the $5 dono. Says, understand some Nurk haters are 14-year-old guys on Twitter. Some are 40-year-olds in their mom's basement.
Yeah. See, the weird part to me is it's pretty obvious there's different fractions of Blazer Twitter, but there's a certain part that is mostly media and, people who follow them pretty closely. And it feels like every single game, those people are just waiting for someone on their team, Yusuf Nurkic, to mess up so they can clown him on Twitter or make a post about how he sucks or whatever. I don't understand that at all. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, that's because I asked Eric before the stream, so anything to rant about tonight? And the only thing you said was Nurk haters on Twitter. For me, it's okay, well, who Nurk slander on Twitter. Who is it, because there's those people out there, but there's a couple national media people saying that stuff, which is why I'm touching upon it. There's people that, have a platform to give their opinions out on that were saying that stuff, and it's like people that are national people that watch the Blazers like 3 times a year, but will watch like their first game all season, game 27, and think they know. You know what I mean? And it's like people that don't, they're not going to notice a lot of the fine, like, non-flashy things. You know what I mean? It's only going to be people that watch the team every game. That's why I will go to other forums and like see what other fans say about players, because I can turn on League Pass and watch the Hornets or whatever to look at Jalen McDaniels, but who's a trade target I like, but I'm not going to know more than somebody that watches him game in, game out. If I tune in for his best game, I'm going to think he's great. If I tune in for a terrible game, I'm going to think he's terrible. So that's why it frustrates me when it's national media people speaking from a place as if they know and they don't, because they only watch the team 2, 3, 4 times a year. That stuff gets frustrating.
I think what bothers me is there's a lot of national people who are very heavy into analytics, which is great, but they'll say like, oh, Nurk's rim protection stats are terrible, and that's what's hurting this team. Like, that's just what they assume, because they look at our starting center, they see our defense is terrible. Oh, his rim protection stats aren't great compared to, Miles Turner or whoever you want to compare it to. So like, obviously that's what we need to do, is get a shot blocking center to protect the rim. But like you said, if you watch every game and you watch Nurk closely, he's actually doing the best he can to cover up our absolutely pathetic perimeter defense and point of attack defense. So like, until that gets cleaned up, like I still think no matter who we brought in, we're going to be talking about it the same way.
Yep. That's why you got to watch the games and watch the team. But that's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's talk about Anfernee Simons. This is the one starter we haven't talked about tonight, Eric. Off shooting night for him. 5 for 13, 2 for 8 from 3, 12 points. 6 assists, though, with only 2 turnovers, 4 rebounds. Just kind of fit in the flow of things. And that's the thing. When you have an offense that flows and certain guys that can get really hot in it, other guys will kind of take a back seat to that. But that's not a bad thing. You don't want having an off shooting night. And he got some clean threes, I thought, in this game that you just missed. You don't want him to chuck up a bunch of them. You want him to just kind of play and take his opportunities when they're there, but not force anything. Now, if he's playing without Dame and Jerami, you need him to force things, and when he's played without Dame, he's been averaging almost 30 points per game. He's phenomenal. But tonight, after having 31 last game, only 12 points. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and this is another part of Brand's breakdown. His gravity, whether he's hitting or not, has become a thing too. So there's a reason why both him and Dame are trading off having good games, or like last game, they both have a good game. It's because teams know they have to guard both of them, and that's really hard to guard 2 players that are basically like Dame. So yeah. Even though he wasn't hitting his threes, I thought he got a lot of quality looks tonight. Didn't really force it. I liked a lot of his attacks on his 2-point shots. Went 3 for 5 from inside, so you'll take that. And then, had some really nice drives and passes in this game. And I'd like to see that evolve even more, including one where he went between his legs and I forgot who he drove past, and then had a nice bounce pass to Drew Eubanks for a dunk. Just really like to see that evolution of his game.
Yep, absolutely. Nothing really else to say. I thought defensively he was okay tonight. Let's take a look at the team stats, Eric. So the Blazers 54% from the field, 46% from 3. Yeah, you're going to drop like 133 points when you're shooting like that. Yeah. And we didn't miss a ton of shots, but still had 11 offensive rebounds. We out-rebounded the Timberwolves 54-37. The Timberwolves have struggled rebounding this year. Don't really understand why, because they have some size. They should be a better rebounding team. They're not. What else jumps off the page?
I mean, holding them under that 50-40 mark that they achieved last game, I think if you would have told me that before the game, I would have felt fairly comfortable. And then I know Anthony Edwards missed 4 free throws, including 2. He might have missed more than that, but I remember 2 times he missed both free throws. And I think Jalen Noel missed 2 free throws one time too. So yeah, just really bad free throw shooting from them. Not that that would have mattered too much. Uh, we did allow a lot of points in the paint from them, but they only made 10 threes, so I guess you can live with that. And another good thing, that bottom number, we took the lead early, and it never really got super crazy close. I mean, they cut it. I think they cut it to like 4 or 6 a few times, but it never really felt like we were losing control of this game at any point.
Yep. 32 assists on 43 shots is very, very nice.
Love it.
Did turn over the ball a little bit too much. A couple like offensive fouls on screens, and there was a turnover at the end, like because there was a 0.4 differential between shot clock and game clock, so it was really 18 turnovers. And I said that was a key going into this game. Like Minnesota will turn you over at times and likes to get out and run, but despite basically 18 turnovers for the Blazers, only 17 fast break points for the Timberwolves. The Blazers had 24, and the Blazers have been one of the bottom teams in terms of pace. Like the Timberwolves were second or third coming into tonight, and the Blazers were like bottom 5, and the Blazers actually were able to score more on the break. It seemed like they were making a concerted effort early in this game, Eric, to get out and run. I don't know if it was just kind of the game flow, like they just had opportunities that were there, or if it was a concerted effort, maybe a talking point for Chauncey Billups going into this game, but this team was able to get going offensively because they were looking for opportunities in transition. And it was nice to see because I've been begging this team to run a little bit more. You got 5 guys that can bring the ball up the court. We've seen Yusuf Nurkic at times bring the ball up the court. There was a play, you know that awkward play he had in the second half where it was him and Sharpe on one side of the floor, and then like he almost traveled.
Yeah.
He was expecting Sharpe to backdoor cut there, and Sharpe would have been open and had a highlight dunk, and Sharpe didn't cut.
But Nurk also didn't realize that no one came the ball and he could have just drove all the way to the
Yeah. But I think it was like he was expecting Sharpe to cut, and that was Sharpe didn't cut. He was like, "What the hell?" and confused, and didn't make another read because that was the only read to make. Is, dude, you're an athletic freak. Sharpe had a step because that was my side of the court. Like I was sitting in 100 level baseline corner. That was my corner. I saw that happen. It was funny. But Nurk has shown that he can bring the ball up the court. Josh Hart, obviously, you got Jerami Grant, Anfernee Simons, Damian Lillard, like, just hit the closest outlet, right? If you're Nurkic and grabbing boards, just hit the closest outlet and go. Get out and run, because you have 3 guys, lethal shooters, trailing from 3. Josh Hart in transition can get to the rim. This team needs to run more. That's been something we've been talking about, especially the starting lineup needs to run more, in my opinion, because they're built to run. The bench kind of maybe has to run by necessity, but this starting lineup should be able to have a lot of success running the ball when you got this much offensive talent in the starting lineup. You get out and run because you'll be able to get Jerami Grant, Anfernee Simons, Damian Lillard open threes, Nurkic running down the lane in transition, going to the rim, Josh Hart being able to push the pace. Like they're so built to run with the starting lineup. It's kind of frustrating to me that they've been near the bottom of the league in terms of pace. So I love to see 24 fast break points against Minnesota 17.
Yeah, I think one thing is, when you're playing 40 minutes a night, it's hard hard to run a lot. So that's why, what do you see? Everyone's minutes are lower tonight because it's a blowout, and we have one of our better fast breaking games of the season. So yeah, that's very good to see. And also just that the chaos it creates, all it takes is one person to go down and guard the wrong guy, or to 2 people to run out at one pass to the shooter, and then you just swing the ball and someone's open. And that's what got Dame, and Ant got some open ones too, but he didn't make as many as in this game. But a lot of Dame's threes were just created because just that little push of the tempo created some mismatches, and they were a little confused on defense.
Yep. Anyway, what'd you think of the defense today?
I mean, a lot of the defensive rating is going to look bad because they scored, I think, like 19 points once we subbed everyone out and played the bench garbage time. So it probably didn't look as good overall defensive rating wise. I thought the defense was pretty good for the most part. aside from the switching of when Eubanks was in the game. And I mean, it's not just Justice Winslow, but Justice Winslow is the one that stands out the most as, like, there's possessions where he plays great defense and then he just reaches in for no reason, or just grabs someone on a rebound when he doesn't have to grab them, and and fouls, and we ruin a good defensive possession. So just cutting out on some of that little stuff like that where you
Jerami Grant end of the quarter.
Yep. Yeah, with less than a second left. What was that game where we had 2 fouls with less than a second left in the quarters? I forgot what game that was.
I tried to forget that game because none of them, dude, I was so frustrated at Jerami foul. But Justice, we could talk a little bit about him offensively too as well. But defensively, he had that stretch. D'Angelo Russell scored on him 4 times in a row. And then as part of that stretch, just to make things worse, he had that horrible lob pass to Shaedon Sharpe. Like, you could double Shaedon Sharpe's vertical jump, and I still don't think he's catching that pass, Eric.
It was like he was trying to, like, drop a water balloon on him, like, from the sky or something. I didn't see it.
It was like the pass to Jerami Grant, except it's so, like, it was out of bounds this time. I don't know what the hell the pass was, but Justice had he did some nice things in this game, 10 assists. But there are so many plays where it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Where him just like randomly reaching. You still can't trust him on a guard right now. He gets cooked almost every time he guards a guard. Got cooked by D'Angelo Russell in this game. Hit a couple tough shots to be fair, but still, it's like it's a trend at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think this game compared to last game, I felt like he made Russell shoot a little bit tougher shots when he was guarding him. It didn't matter because Russell was still hitting him, but I felt like he was doing a little bit better job of keeping him in front. Still not great, but it's hard to complain when he has 10 assists and 2 turnovers. And the couple threes he took from the corner aside, I felt like he was moving a little bit better. He had that nice cut in the first half where he got a pass from Dame, I think, for a lay-in. And I liked his movement out there tonight. Outside of the reaching on defense, I really didn't have a huge problem with the way he played.
Yeah. Yep. And then, forgot to say this about Drew, too. Good game. The first, 3 minutes, I thought he couldn't have played worse. The first 2 or 3 minutes, he had that pass to that defender, but there was a few defensive mistakes. And my thing is with Drew is every game I feel like he has a 2 or 3 minute stretch where he just makes a mistake on every possession, offensively or defensively. Like the first time he came into the game, Eric, they were fighting the shot clock and he was trying to set Dame a screen and he just wouldn't roll. He just wouldn't roll. He just stood there and it was in the corner and he wouldn't clear out and Dame just has 2 defenders on him and Drew's just standing there. I think next possession he made a defensive mistake. The next possession he had a really bad turnover, really bad pass. Drew will have... Most of the time he'll be fine. Say he plays 18 minutes, right? 12 of those minutes he'll be fine. 3 of those minutes he'll be phenomenal and have back-to-back-to-back big finishes. And then 3 of those minutes he's absolutely terrible. Mm-hmm. That's the Drew Eubanks experience to me.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Do you feel the same way?
I mean, yeah, I think you just have to take some of the good with the bad, but I mean, he's been a lot better than I thought he would. So it's hard to blame him too much for some of those. But yeah. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about it.
Yeah. I was just responding because Gordon in chat said, tried to send a dono but couldn't. I don't know why you aren't able to send a dono, Gordon, but I'm down to read off anything you post. You've been a channel member for over a year and very supportive. So, if you want something read off or answered, I will grant you that. Don't know why YouTube's stopping you from donating. That's kind of strange.
And if you end up, if you're able to come to our watch party, I'd like to, we can explain things that we're seeing as it's happening too. So
Yep, the watch party.
That'll be fun to break down with you guys.
January 2nd in Northeast Portland, Alberta Abbey is the venue for Blazers versus Pistons. We'll be opening doors about an hour before, still setting up exactly how we're doing tickets, and there's a lot that goes into that, a lot of work. So, but we got a venue. We'll have a projector and plan on doing the postgame show from there, so that should be a lot of fun, be able to meet some of you guys. So January 2nd, mark that on your calendars, and I'll let you guys know when tickets are available. Channel members will get a slight discount on it, so if you want to become a channel member, click that join button below this video, and your name will be green in chat, which is cool. Anyway, let's talk, I don't know, you want to talk Shaedon Sharpe, Trendon Watford? Those were the other two guys that played meaningful minutes tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about Sharpe.
Yeah, he padded his stats at the end of this one. Do I not have his coding? Okay, let me put in his code. Where I thought I already had his code in here. Shaedon Sharpe. Yeah, I don't know why his code's not showing up. So you get blank stats, I guess. Weird.
Excuses, Gordon, man. 8,000 miles away, like you can't just come over here.
Weird.
Did you shadow ban Gordon?
You the last person I'd shadow ban.
That's funny, Medina.
Yeah. If you guys were here for that, yeah, we had somebody like cuss us out for shadow banning, and it's like a way to prove why you're probably shadow banned. And we can't shadow ban. We can ban you from chat, or we can ban you for 5 minutes, one or the other. So, yeah, I don't know why Sharpe's stats aren't showing up. That's super weird to me. Like if I put in like Jabari's won't show up. If I put in Dame's will show up. So I don't know why. And Eubanks will show up, but Shaedon Sharpe? Huh. I'll have to talk to the guy who codes these for me, because I'm not genius enough to code, but for some reason Sharpe's stats just aren't showing up when I put in the code HTML file. But I'll read off his stats. Tonight, Shaedon Sharpe in 20 minutes, 7 for 12, 0 for 4 from 3, which means he's 7 for 8 inside the arc, 7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 14 points. What did you think of Sharpe today?
Yeah, unfortunately, one of his dunks was a goaltend. Got away with it, but
yeah.
Man, I just hope you see the way he finishes around the rim. He attacks the offensive rebounds. That freaking sick. He drops the ball all the way down, starts on one side of the line of the paint and gets it all the way to the other side in the air and lays it in reverse style. Like I was hoping once he started hitting a bunch of layups and dunks that he would maybe get some confidence back, but man, his 3-point shot, you can tell like he just has no confidence. One nicks the side of the backboard on it. It almost went in still, but I just want to see him knock down some shots and get that confidence back, because we could really use him spacing the floor with that second unit. We need to have at least one of those players being able to shoot and help Ant out if he's the one running the point in that unit. But yeah, good to see him at least score some inside, and he's always a fun highlight reel.
Yeah. And the one shot he missed from 2 was a floater where he was shooting that floater from, I think, above the rim.
Yeah.
He just rose above everyone.
I felt like he got caught between thinking maybe he should go towards the rim and then shoot the floater. Yeah. And he kind of left it short because of that.
He just has to learn how to play still. He's a dude out there that's the most athletically gifted player on the floor with enough skill to be able to utilize that athleticism at times, right? Like enough coordination, body control, like that layup that he finished. But just still has to work on his ball handling and shooting consistently because he struggled with his 3, and then has to work on, just reading things because once he figures that out, then he'll be really, really good. But one of the things I do want him to work on, Eric, is when you notice like Ant and Dame, when they catch a ball, right? What do? They sit there and they'll like look for their shot. Okay, they're guarded. Defender's close enough on them. They'll like jab step, see if the defender slides, and they'll read the defender out of a triple threat, right? And it's, they'll take a couple quick little jab steps, see if they're sliding. If they don't slide, then they'll turn that into a drive, right? And have a step. And they'll make a good, quick, clean rip through. Or if they slide, then they'll go the other way or step back, and they just kind of play off that. They play from a set position. When Sharpe catches the ball, he rushes. How many times have we seen him open? He'll catch the ball and he'll immediately put it on the floor. We've seen that happen way too much. He'll be wide open. He'll catch the ball. He'll put it on the floor. Then he'll realize he was open. He's like, oh, crap, I was open. I should have shot the three. And then he'll step back and shoot the three, right? Or he'll catch the ball and immediately like put it on the ground, go into his left, get cut off, and then step back and have to shoot a really tough step back. That was one of the threes he missed. Or he'll kick it back out. Like, he's putting the ball on the ground too quick. He needs to catch, read shot. If the defender's out there all the way, yeah, if you can blow by them, if they get close enough, sure. But you got to, like, let them get close enough, right? Like, there's times where he'll be ran off the line. He'll catch the ball, and he'll put it on the ground before the defender is close enough for him to actually beat the defender. And he'll drive into the defender and get cut off. Like, he needs to... I think this will come with experience. When he's catching the ball, he needs to calm down, like, catch, read shot. Shot's not there. Wait for the defender to get all the way out. If he over-closes, that's when, once they're close enough to you, that's when you put the ball on the ground because they're easier to beat the closer they are to you. And then if they don't close out all the way, okay, then maybe you shoot the three then, right? If they stop short, okay, then shoot the three. Or then pump fake, and if they step out even further, go. Or, test them with a jab step. Just slow down, you know what I mean? But the problem is he rushes every time he catches the ball on the perimeter.
I think it's maybe, like, in his head, he feels more comfortable taking the dribble first before just catch and shooting. And that's definitely something that young players, if they haven't really, when you're the best player on your team most of your life at all levels, I know he started playing later in life, but once he started playing, I mean, he was the most physically gifted player on the court. Like, a lot of times you're not used to that. Like, what you're saying is, like, you don't really know what to do when you catch the ball because you're used to bringing the ball up and making the play happen versus just catching and shooting. So I think that's something that just needs to be, like, lots of repetition to get used to it. So, but,
like, that's the thing. I think we saw the same evolution with Ant because he was never a guy that did much off the dribble, and I kind of felt the same way. Like, his rookie year, he'd catch the ball and kind of rush his moves on the perimeter if he didn't have the three. But now you look at Ant, how much he plays off the triple threat and even off the dribble. Like, he'll put the ball on the floor, but it's not just, okay, I'm putting the ball on the floor and trying to drive straight at you or straight by you. It's he'll put the ball on the floor and he has a good enough handle to be able to kind of like play with it and kind of shift his defender and open up driving lanes like that. That'll be where Sharpe starts to realize his upside. And that's when Sharpe's able to do that, that's when he'll truly have confidence on the floor because he'll get the feeling like, okay, I can get to spots I like. Right now, it's obvious he doesn't feel like he can get to spots he likes off the dribble, so he doesn't have that sort of confidence. It's almost like, okay, well, if I have a straight line drive, okay, I can go around the rim and make something happen, or I can shoot the floater, but if there's a defender on me, it's like 3-point shot or nothing. And, when you're able to kind of do what you want, you'll just have more confidence, not only as a shooter, as a scorer. You're able to read defenses out of the triple threat too. That's the thing. He rushes so much. Like, a lot of times he doesn't even notice how the defense is rotating towards him. Just slowing himself down and being able to play out the triple threat and becoming a better ball handler, being able to play off the dribble a little bit more will help him get downhill more, which with his athleticism will be a good thing. Help him get by his defender cleanly more, and then it will also help him read the defense a little bit better. So that's the next evolution, and I think that's something that Dame and Chauncey will figure out with him. That's why I'm still super high on his long-term upside. Even if he goes 0 for 12 tonight, doesn't change how I feel about his long-term upside, because there's just things that he has to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyway, just wanted to get into that because that's something I kind of noticed today that I thought about that I hadn't really like fully gone in depth on, just with my own thinking. And then the other guy that played tonight, let's see if Trendon's stats work, Eric. No Trendon I don't know what's going on. That's so strange to me. Like, why those two specifically, their stats don't work. I don't know. They weren't high enough in the box score with the coding system or something, but I don't know. Dude, let me just say this. In person, Trendon looks so short.
Does he?
He looks like he's like barely taller than Sharpe. Like an inch taller than Sharpe at most.
You know, it's funny. My mom met Trendon and Nas. And she was like, they really weren't that tall. And I was like, well, Mom, you realize they're like my height. Like, I think I'm actually a half an inch taller than Nas, and I think a half an inch shorter than Watford. So.
Yeah. So what's your excuse for not being in the NBA, Eric?
Well, I have no hops, I guess.
No hops. Yeah, I feel it. We already had this height debate earlier today.
Okay. So, I mean, it's probably hard to believe now, but in my prime, like early 20s, I was like 6'6", 215, and that was like Michael Jordan size, right? So, like, I would have to be guarding Jordan and stuff. I would get cooked.
Yeah. People don't realize, man, even like small level college, how good these players are. But yeah. Anyway, I wasn't one of the good ones. I was one of the ones who struggled in small level college. We're not going to talk about that because Reddit doesn't like it when I do. Yeah, Watford just looks small to me. That was my biggest takeaway from today's game with Watford was, damn, he looks small, man. Like, how's that dude a center in the league? He's not. He slid his feet well. He slid his feet well lately, I thought. His defense has been better than it was when he first started playing at the start of the year. Maybe he's in a little bit better shape now because obviously he missed time to start the season. Defensively, I think he's been okay lately. And he hit a 3 today, which was nice, but he's really going to have to become a lethal three-point shooter because he's a power forward at most in the league. He's just size-wise and athleticism-wise, because that's the thing. You could have a guy that's 6'6", but if he's super athletic, he can make up for it. Like Zion, you can play at a center spot because he'll sky above people for rebounds, can block some shots, that sort of thing. Trendon is not a center. Would love to see him knock down threes when it's not in garbage time, but still nice to see him make a 3, play some solid defense, provide some solid minutes, played 13 minutes tonight, and was solid, I thought. What did you think? Yeah,
for sure. Didn't see it seemed like he fixed some of the mistakes he was making last game. It's always nice to see someone take what you learned from the previous game against, especially when you're playing the same team twice in a row, and fix that, because that's something that needs to be done in the playoffs. You have to make adjustments and stuff like that. But I thought he did fine at his minutes he played tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll have to get like Trendon or Krish in his free time can just randomly get me an upgraded or a different Watford graphic and I can plug it in. So Krish, I know you're not listening to me. I'll message Krish that if he wants to continue to add to this during off days, because obviously this is a Krish creation. He's loves tricking out the Watford graphic. Anyway, what's next? I don't know. It's weird doing player cards like throughout the entire stream because then it's like I feel like there's a segment that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take questions from chat, I guess, for the next 10 minutes. Then we'll go around the NBA. Then we'll go breakdowns, wrap things up. Or we can go breakdowns, questions around the NBA. Or we can... What do you want to do?
Okay. We'll leave a chat.
We'll take questions. Then we'll go around the NBA. And that'll be fun. Yeah, shout out to you for giving Zach some tickets, man. That was cool of you.
Well, that was actually my mom, so.
Yeah, through you. Yeah, you and your mom. Shout out to Charlene. But Zach also didn't message me to come say hi either, so my mods hate me, unfortunately.
Did you even tell him you were going?
Somebody asked, is anyone going to the game in our Twitter group chat? And I said, yes. And then I took a picture walking to the stadium of like Portland, and it was blurry because I was walking. And nobody, man, yeah, Zach, I was at the game, man. Yeah, tough scenes out here, but anyway, that's why the stream was late, because I got to drive all the way back to Vancouver. I just didn't feel like announcing it. I'm going to the game tonight. Come say what's up. Anyway, can we talk about how well Hart is playing on an injured ankle? Well, how injured is it? We don't know, right? Like, he's playing through it, but that's what I'd expect from him, you know? Like, he's busting his ass, though. I love how hard Hart's playing, and he's hitting threes. I don't know. I don't know how hurt he actually is, because there's been talk, but if your ankle's hurting a bit, it doesn't necessarily slow you down. If it's hurting enough, then obviously it will. I don't know. Because people were saying he's playing on one foot, but I don't know. I don't know how to analyze that.
Who's that?
Josh Hart. Where have you been the last 30 seconds as I struggled to answer this?
I just didn't hear who we were talking about. I heard everything else.
Yeah, Hart, how well he's playing on his injured ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Did anyone recognize me, says Steve. They have in the past, not today. I had no fans say hi. Nope. Unfortunately not. I like feeling famous. It's always pretty cool. It's my beard. It might be. Do we got question chat? I'm giving you guys a chance to ask us questions. We all got a ton of questions. Is Hart shooting better this year than ever before? Maybe after this game, yes, but small sample. He hasn't shot much this year, unfortunately. But it was 36% going into this game and was 2 for 3, so it's not like he's shooting the ball poorly.
Gordon asks, are you a Rowdy fan, or do you generally watch and analyze?
Depends on who I'm with, and or how drunk I am, and or...
Drunk? When do you watch drunk?
I don't, actually. But if I did, I'd be rowdy, is my point. But I'm not buying $10 beers that are in a plastic cup that is this big. No bueno on that. But, yeah, if it's playoffs, yeah. But I've calmed down. I used to be a lot more rowdy like 5 years ago. I don't know. Something with doing the channel makes it so I'm not super rowdy in person.
Yeah. I mean, I have, people sleeping a lot if it's a later game, so can't be super rowdy. But, yeah, I definitely get into the games and get very serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do it while I'm analyzing. So
Eric Olson, go ahead.
My analyzation is what makes me mad sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Why are they like
stuff that nobody else in the stadium is saying, but you see?
Eubanks and Simons switched like 4 straight pick and rolls. All 4 of them, they had no reason to switch today. And I'm just like, why?
I was that guy today. And there's a dude like in front of me and kind of to the side. Would I like say something that was like hard to notice or something, and it ended up with them scoring, and the guy would actually like kind of like like nod. I don't know. It was kind of funny, but yeah, I'll be that guy like, quit auto switching. But I don't yell, so it's just the people around me just hear me like analyze the game from my seat.
Yeah. I yell sometimes.
Yeah, I don't yell really or anything. I'm kind of chill. Hyperprime, the real media sits in the media section, which is like the top of the sideline, Those guys are the real media, right?
Man, I don't even know if I'd want to watch a game from the media
section. I wouldn't either.
Because you can't cheer. You're not allowed to like clap and stuff. Yeah.
Yep, you just gotta sit there. Which, for some of those people that don't, aren't huge fans of the team like that, or diehard fans, it's easy. For me, it'd be a little tough, especially playoffs. But, yeah, I wouldn't want to sit there. Media pass, I don't even know what we do with a media pass. Like, we'd have a live feed into the locker room, maybe. We'd go down there and just, have a live interview. If somebody wanted to have media access, but it's like, who do we, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't know how we'd even if we got a pass, I don't even know how we'd utilize it in a way that would make sense. Or add to anything, Media day would honestly be the biggest thing. But, like, I'm not going into a state, you know what I mean, Eric? Like, if we had a media pass, I'm not sitting in the media section and then going down into the locker room being the one who answers questions because I want to do this post-game show. So, if I had a freaking place right next to Moda Center that I could immediately go and start this post-game show immediately, sure. But, like, I'd rather hang out with you guys, believe it or not, chat. I'd rather hang out with you guys than be in the locker room asking questions. I'd rather analyze and tell you guys what I see and hang out with y'all instead of the players. So, anyway. Any other questions you saw that you liked?
Not yet.
Steve J says, who stood out most today? Obviously, Dame. Or a player you saw in the crowd went wild. Yeah, Dame. Dame with his threes. And they, at the end of the first half, I think it was the first half, they ended up, like, on their feet because he was on a huge run and he had the ball late, and that's when Josh Hart missed that floater and then Jerami Grant fouled. That was kind of a buzzkill, but, like, people were anticipating Dame pulling up a deep three, but, like, every three he shot in the second half, like, fans were, like, rising out of their seats when he was getting it off, man. It was cool. Hyperprop says post-game show from the car.
What's your realistic expectation of GP2?
Be a guy that you can sub in and put him up against the best offensive player for the other team when they're cooking everybody else on this roster and hope that GP2 slows them down.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, you could expect him to be the best point of attack defender, to be like the best player at getting through screens, and yeah, having the best chance of actually staying in front of someone. So, yeah, that's probably all you can hope for. And he provides energy, and that's a guy who's never going to stop trying while he's out there. So, yeah, I think it's pretty safe to expect him to be one of the top or the best defender on the team once he's in there.
Yep.
By the way, they announced, was it yesterday or was it earlier this morning, 1 to 2 weeks for him?
Because I assume, Eric, based on everything you've said, in like the next 1 to 2 weeks, it's either going to get to the point where the soreness has subsided enough where it's like, okay, I'm good to go, or the soreness is going to persist, but at that point it's like, okay, screw it, I'm just going to play. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I said a couple weeks ago, that I was expecting it to be like mid to late December, but then, Dame said he practiced in full last week, and I was like, oh, maybe they're going to try to have him play sooner than later. But, yeah, they're definitely...
Sorry, it's just on the chat. Go
ahead. I think they're basically going to give it the 1 to 2 weeks. I don't know if he plays on this road trip. I think, 2 weeks would be that game after Christmas against the Hornets at home. That might be a good game for him to get his feet wet and play. And then the next game is against the Warriors. So, he wants to play in that one. So I think, they might give him a game or two before that Warrior game and just see how he responds. Maybe you play the last game of the road trip, and then they have the 3 days off over Christmas from the 23rd to the 26th. So, yeah, I'd expect him to either play in the Denver game or the Charlotte game. But once again, that's just kind of realistic guessing, not really based on any info.
Maybe his first game will be January 2nd for our watch party. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, almost 4 weeks out?
That's...
or no, 3 weeks out?
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, My math was off, but
almost exactly 3
I
weeks.
can't believe it's almost Christmas, man. That's so crazy.
Yep. Pasty Zach says, "Why was there an annoying Suns fan behind me all game? Was it Gabe? Zach, was it a dude wearing the Valley jersey? Because I saw that dude in the concourse. Like white guy, kind of short to medium, like curly hair, look like with a Valley jersey."
All right, I understand.
We saw the same dude.
I understand when people wear like Seattle Sonics jerseys to like the Thunder Blazer games, and I understand like if you maybe have a Kevin Durant Warriors jersey and they're playing the Nets, but you're a huge Kevin Durant fan and that's the only jersey you have. But like, why would you choose to wear like a Suns jersey to a Blazers Timberwolves game? That's so
I don't
weird.
even wear Blazers jerseys to Blazer games much anymore. Like I'll wear like a sweatshirt and some ripped jeans and call it a night, you know. So I don't understand wearing another team's jersey to a game. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Funky cheese, we actually talked about that a lot earlier, so go back to when Yusuf Nurkic's picture is on the left side of your screen and get the answer to that. But explain to us why you think Eubanks should start over Nurk. Like what are you basing that on?
Yeah, or is that just a question and not actually your opinion?
And then Devin has been asking this. What's your prediction for the 6-game road trip?
Okay, yeah, let's look ahead because I don't have that graphic or anything, so let's just look at it right now. So the Blazers embark on a 6-game road trip. The Spurs graphic said it was at home is a lie in the Discord. I accidentally put home for every Spurs graphic, unfortunately. Only mistake, I think, in the entire schedule that you can find in our Discord. Join our Discord, link in description box below. We got game threads, and we can interact in there, and this weekend after post-game shows, I want to host a couple gaming lobbies and, talk to you guys in voice chat and whatnot. We got early games 5 and 5:30 on Friday, Saturday, so post-game shows will be like, 7:38, wrap up around 10. So it would be nice to get a couple, late night gaming lobbies with y'all. But that would be through our Discord and through the VC, which is voice chat. Link in the description box below for that. But they embark on a 6-game road trip. They play San Antonio on Wednesday. Then on Friday and Saturday, they play Dallas and Houston. Monday and Wednesday, they play Oklahoma City twice in a row. And then they ended up on Friday with Denver. So their next home game is actually after Christmas on December 26th. So you got the Spurs, Mavericks, Rockets, Thunder, Nuggets. 6 games. 6 winnable games, Eric. Saying Dallas is hit or miss right now.
San Antonio, for the record, did beat Miami, I think, in Miami, and who do they beat tonight? The Cavs tonight?
Yeah. So San Antonio all of a sudden is playing decently again.
So that it's not like a gimme game or anything.
Yeah, but a game we should win. Dallas, we've already lost in Dallas, but, with Dame... Did we have Dame in that first Dallas game? We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we didn't have Nurk.
We didn't have Nurk. So Dallas rematch, like, you look at San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, and then the Thunder twice in a row. I feel like we should aim to win at least 4 of those 5 games. Obviously, if you can get all 5, perfect. But worst case scenario, you go 3-3 on this road trip. Like, it cannot be any worse than 3-3. But they should aim for 4-2. Right,
Yeah,
you got Denver at the end of the thing. It's going to be hard. At the end of that thing, it's going to be hard to win that, and then Dallas, earlier in the trip, like 4-2 should be the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Like playing OKC twice in a row. I'm not getting into that, Gordon, but maybe they get you one of those, and then you win 2 out of 3 against San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. Houston just beat Milwaukee the other night. They can get hot really fast with their scoring guards, and Jabari Smith has been playing a lot better. So, yeah.
Yep. 4-2 should be the goal. That would put us at 19-14.
Man, Max, Easy Money should be on the ban list of words in chat.
He's a Laker fan, so it doesn't count. He's talking
No.
about the Lakers going 6-0 in their next 6 games. That's what he's talking about. He didn't actually differentiate anything there. So,
Yeah.
if you're gonna try and jinx us, Max, we're gonna out that you're a Lakers fan because you're the most respectful Laker fan that we've met doing YouTube. And you changed your name so that people don't know, but we still know. So don't jinx us, man. That's a jinx phrase.
Or he really thinks we're going to go 6-0.
Yeah, but also easy money is a jinx phrase. Easy money is literally every time it's been uttered, it's been a jinx phrase this year. Zach said it after every one of his picks and picks against the spread today. Eric, what was his record in picks against the spread today?
It was 3-6.
Actually, not as bad as I thought. I was 6-2. He had to double down on 2 games. 3-6. Yeah, but 3-6 ain't good.
You want to know what I was?
No.
Okay.
I don't, because I already know what you were, and I don't want to hear you brag about it. Anyway, let's take a look at the scores from today. Let's go around the NBA. Let's get the standings down, which still isn't. I thought that was supposed to be updating by now, but it's not. Anyway, we had 7 games from today. We picked all these games against the spread over on our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live. We stream Mondays and Thursdays, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Subscribe with the link below. Every time I plug that, I feel like maybe one person clicks the link below, but we have a lot more subs over here than we do over there, so definitely go check that out. It's always a fun time over there. And that's where we stream during the off-season, so you definitely want to be subscribed to that second live channel. Anyway, Eric, you're starting things off for us tonight with Heat and Pacers.
Well, the Heat played disgusting basketball, but the Pacers were worse and somehow lose this game despite only giving up 87 points. Miami tried to give the game away and ruin the point spread several times for bettors, but the Pacers couldn't make a shot at the end. Tyrese Halliburton 0 for 9 from the field, 1 point, 6 assists. So not a memorable night for him. Mathurin was 2 for 7 off the bench. Just a horrible shooting night. They shot 35% as a team. The Heat only shoot 38%, but it was enough to win. Jimmy Butler had 20. Bam, 22. No one else in double digits for them. And you're muted.
I am muted. I heard you. I am muted. Nets Wizards. Brooklyn's been playing good lately. They beat the Wizards 112-100 behind Kevin Durant, who had let me figure it out. Kevin Durant 30 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 11 for 17 from the field. Would have been more impressive if he went 11 for 17 from 3. That's what they went tonight. 24 points for Kyrie. 12 off the bench from TJ Warren, who's back and playing again, which is nice to see. For the Wizards, they have started to struggle. They started the season decently, but Bradley Beal missed this game. For the Wizards, they were led by 22 off the bench from Will Barton, former Blazer, 20 from Kyle Kuzma, 20 from Kristaps Porzingis, 10 for Daniel Gafford.
I watched most of this game. The Memphis Grizzlies just obliterated the Atlanta Hawks. This game was not even close. And the Memphis Grizzlies were just doing whatever they wanted. Ja Morant did not play. Neither did Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins. So not a lot of star power in this game. DeAndre Hunter had 19 to lead the Hawks. But it was Tyus Jones with 22 and 11 for the Grizzlies that really played well. And they were just taking turns scoring. Jaren Jackson Jr. also had 8 blocks in this game, so he was a monster on the glass. But yeah, it was kind of a very sad game to watch.
Yeah, it was a blowout. Remind me why I took the Hawks again. I don't know why I took the freaking Hawks, man. Next game, you got 2 teams we'll see on this road trip. You got the Mavericks and the Thunder. The Mavericks took care of business but did not cover the spread. 121-114 win for Dallas. In a matchup between two stars, you got Luka Doncic versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Both of them had big games. Luka Doncic, 38 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists on 13 for 27 in the winning effort. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 42 points, 14 for 23 from the field. Both these guys are going to be all-stars as guards in the West at this point, despite OKC being below 500. SGA's numbers are absolutely insane this year, averaging over 30 points per game. He's been phenomenal. Other performances, 20 from Tim Hardaway, 6 for 16 from the field, 6 for 14 from 3, just a 3-point shooter. He is, and then Spencer Dinwiddie, 20 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, almost gets a triple-double.
Yep, and then you have the Spurs, our next opponent, beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a game that they were up double digits most of the game, and then Cleveland tried to make a comeback at the end, but it was not enough. So the San Antonio Spurs take down one of the better teams in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell was a game-time decision. He actually plays in this one. He scores 28 points, but didn't get a ton of help. 18 from Garland, 16 from Allen, 17 from Mobley, 23 from Karis LeVert. But the Spurs were led by Josh Richardson off the bench, and he had 24 points.
Yep, and then in the final game, other than ours, of course, look at that beautiful score. You got the Clippers blowing out the Celtics 113-93. The Celtics, after starting 21-5, have lost 2 straight to fall to 21-7. The Clippers actually had a healthy team tonight. They had Kawhi Leonard, who played 29 minutes. 10 for 12, 25 points, 6 assists for Kawhi. Paul George, 8 for 22, not the most efficient night, but 26 points for PG. Marcus Morris, 13, Luke Kennard, 12, but they get the job done defensively, having Kawhi and PG to guard Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is a pretty good duo of defenders to have, especially when they do the things that they do offensively. Jason Tatum, 7 for 20, struggles for the second game in a row. Only 20 points for him. Jaylen Brown had 21 on 9 for 15. Brogdon, 18 off the bench. That is the scores, and I'll pull up the standings here in a second.
I think Kawhi had his first 20-point game in 500 days or something like that.
Just wild.
And then for those that are like, oh, what's wrong with the Celtics? I mean, they're on a long road trip on the West Coast, and they're playing so well. It doesn't really mean anything that they lost to the Warriors and the Clippers, both pretty much at full strength.
Yep. Anyway, let me pull this up. Friggin' computer's tripping out. Here we go. Standings. There is updated standings for the Western Conference. Portland is in 6th, tied with Sacramento in terms of games above 500. Sacramento's played a couple less games. That's why they are ahead, but Portland would have that tiebreaker. We're only a game and a half back of 3rd. That Denver loss sucked because right now we would be in 3rd if we took care of business in that game, because we'd be tied with Phoenix and own the tiebreaker over them. We'd be 16-11. Denver would be 15-11. That's the thing, is one game is such a huge difference, especially when it comes against Western Conference teams. If we lost to Minnesota today, we would be tied with them. And right now they're in 11th. So, can't really look at seeding a whole lot right now. But the Blazers do have one of the easier schedules left the rest of the season. They're looking good right now. Have confidence that they can maybe take care of business on the 6-game road trip and maybe climb up these standings. That would be nice. Dallas coming up, that'll be a huge game. They're only a game back of us. It's just really interesting to look at these standings and how jam-packed things are.
So it's going to be like this for a while, most likely. Although it'd be nice if Minnesota fell out.
Yeah,
Utah could fall out.
Utah is 3-7 their last 10.
Make this basically like a 9-team race for the top 6 spots. That'd be a little nicer.
I think in the end you'll have Utah, Minnesota, and the Lakers battling for that 10th seed.
Mm-hmm.
Utah I don't really trust. of course, it could be Dallas in that tier as well, but I have a feeling with Minnesota without Karl-Anthony Towns and a really tough schedule, in the Lakers, I think those two teams, like, if you look at things 2 weeks from now, Mods, you can clip this and post it in the Clips chat if you want, and I can look back on this in 2 weeks and anybody else in our Discord and see how right I was. But I think, like, at the end of this calendar year, you're going to see Minnesota in the Lakers on the outside looking in, maybe with a little bit of separation. Right now there's separation with LA, but I think Minnesota is going to end up like 4 or 5 games below 500 at the end of the year. It'll be interesting to see what Utah does. I think Utah might continue to hover right around 500. Like, I still don't really know exactly if Utah's legitimate or not.
Or if they'll pull the shoot at some point.
Yeah, or what they're going to do. But Utah could be with those 3 teams battling for 10th. But right now, if you look at things, like, there's 10, 11 seemingly legitimate teams in the West right now. This is where the playing's kind of nice. In the East, the past couple of years, it's been some poor teams that you don't want to see even play a play-in game. But you got some legitimate depth in the West, so it makes the play-in even more intriguing and entertaining, in my opinion. But it'll be interesting to see the separation here. But I think you're going to see Minnesota and LA on the outside looking in, maybe with some separation between that 10th and 11th spot in a couple of weeks. Utah, I don't expect to climb up anymore. I think you're going to see a tier here at the end of the year with maybe Sacramento sticks around, but like Portland, Clippers, Dallas, Golden State, Phoenix has been struggling. Denver even, the Blazers played them at the end of this trip. Like, I think you're going to see all those teams grouped up. I still don't trust New Orleans. I think New Orleans, despite them being 9-1 their last 10, I think New Orleans will be about 500 the rest of the year. That's just random prediction. Still don't believe them.
Hater.
I'm just making some takes, and we'll see if I'm right or not.
You know, New Orleans is the only team in the NBA in the top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating.
Yeah, but also I don't trust their defense to maintain that level of play, and supposedly they've had the luckiest defense in the league.
Okay.
Quote unquote. So you called me a Dallas hater. I mean, Dallas is very mid right now. Very, very mid. We better beat them.
They're right there where they were last year.
Yeah, but I mean, they're a middle of the pack team in the West. Mm-hmm. Hence, they're mid. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where does mid start and end? You know, or is every team mid, except for New Orleans and Memphis?
In the West, it's pretty much every team except for them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Memphis looks legitimate. I don't know. The standings. It's such an interesting year. There's so much parity, man. It's like baseball. Every year going into baseball, even during the season, it's like if a team gets hot at the right time in playoffs, they can go on a huge run. Look at the Phillies, right? I feel like that's the West this year. There's no favorite. It's wild, and it's entertaining, and it's fun, and it's going to be interesting to look back on in the future. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Zach, any clips, post in the clips section, and I will look back on them. I just wanted to look back on my own sake. It's always fun to look back at standings talk from early in the season and then see how things progress from there. But that is the Western Conference standings. I don't have the East. Still working on coding that correctly, but East hasn't really changed much. You got Boston, Milwaukee at the top, and then Cleveland and Brooklyn are 3rd and 4th, and they're a half game apart. Philadelphia's in 5th, but Philadelphia is like their body language, the energy they've been playing with. I don't know. Philadelphia scares me. Mm-hmm. They just seem like a team that could implode at any second. Maybe that's because I pay attention to Romp's tweets too much, and he's always imploding.
They could get Maxey back and be fine, though.
Yeah. But anyway, that is around the NBA. Let's break things down, and then let's wrap up the stream. How many plays did you have today, by the way?
2.
2. Dos seconds. Okay, let me pull up the first one, and then I'll change to it. That's the sound of it downloading. All right. Play number 1, what you got?
All right, so this first play is just an example of what I was talking about with Eubanks. I just want to show everyone what I mean. So we have a situation here where we start off with Slow-Mo has the ball. He's going to do a dribble handoff to, I think that's Anthony Edwards. And in the second slide, you see that Ant just slides right through. Oh, no, it's Noel. Or no. Yeah, so Ant's going to slide through and be fine. Now, Jalen's going to pass to Rudy Gobert. And you can see, right now we're set up really well in this possession. Not much time has gone off the shot clock, but we're in good shape here. Everyone's pretty much where they're supposed to be. And then Rudy Gobert is going to catch this ball. And look where Drew Eubanks is in the next slide. Okay. He's pressed all the way up on Rudy Gobert. And if you remember, or if you were paying attention, Nurk would be down in the paint around the bottom of that circle of the free throw line in this situation earlier in the game. And he does that because that allows Anfernee to easily get through here. But now with the way Drew is positioned, he's actually going to be kind of in the way from Anfernee shooting through and getting back in front of Jalen going, if he goes under this pick like he's about to. But as you look at the next slide, look where Drew ends up. He just leaves Eubanks and switches, or he leaves Gobert and switches. Gobert didn't even hand him the ball, and Eubanks still switched. And look where Ant is. He made it through. He didn't even get screened. There was no reason for Eubanks to switch. And now Eubanks has both feet at the three-point line. He has no way of getting back into play to offer any rim protection. Anfernee was fine. He didn't need help there. There was no reason for him to switch, and he just jumped this for no reason. I have no idea what he's doing here. Okay. And then, so we have the situation where Gobert probably should have taken it inside on Anfernee. He had the lane, but he's not smart enough to recognize that. So,
or skilled enough.
So he's going to hand it off or pass to Slow-Mo and then screen for him. And you can see this is what happens. So then Ant has to go take Gobert, and that led to several offensive rebounds in this game by Gobert. Well, not several because they only had 4, but all of Gobert's offense.
They had 7.
Oh, 7, yeah. So Gobert had a tip in because of this. It was like a possession before this or something. It's just driving me crazy, man. This auto switching, especially when you're Eubanks and you have a guy who will go inside after he sets the screen. You can't afford to let one of the smallest guys on the court switch to Gobert in this situation. You have to do everything you can to not have that happen. Now, it's going to happen occasionally where you switch. That's unavoidable. But you have to make that the last option, not your first instinct to cut off Jalen Noel here instead of sticking with your guy, Rudy Gobert, and giving Ant the lane to cut through. So now, as we go through, Gobert's going to screen for a screen on Trendon Watford. And Watford's actually going to do a horrible job of trying to get through this screen. I don't know what he's doing here. But it's also, someone that you're not really upset if he pulls up from 15 feet or whatever. So that's probably fine. And then actually, as you can see here, Gobert's still between Trendon and Slow-Mo. But actually, Trendon does a really good job of recovering. Ant still thinks he has to guard Gobert. They probably could have switched that, and then it's a more favorable matchup with Ant on Slow-Mo and Watford on Gobert. Still not ideal, but look at Eubanks still standing at the top of the key. Now we've taken our center, and he's nowhere in the lane now for rim protection. And once again, we have Sharpe and Anfernee are guards as the last line of defense in this, and Winslow, Eubanks, and Watford as our forwards, not able to protect the rim. So Watford actually recovers really well in this last slide and actually blocks the shot, and we actually get the ball off the block shot, so it doesn't end up mattering that Ant's trying to box out Rudy Gobert, or would have had to been if Gobert wasn't complaining. But this is just an example of how just that little difference between Nurk and Eubanks, Nurk wouldn't have switched that guard action on the top with Gobert. He would have stayed with Gobert, and luckily for us on this possession, Watford makes a good play to block the shot. But this is what happens a lot of times that leads to a really easy basket by the opposition.
Yep. Absolutely. Why is Rudy Gobert running towards the sideline?
he's whining about like getting hit in the face or something.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, this dude whines so freaking much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times it was on TV and how many times it wasn't, but oh my goodness, this dude could not stop complaining. Okay, yeah, he's whining. Okay, that makes sense, because it looks like he's running, like about to like he's mid-arm pump, like he's sprinting towards the sideline, which just looks funny in this play. But good old Rudy Gobert loves whining on plays that he shouldn't be whining about.
And see, this is one of the things that I would love to have a media pass to ask. I would say, hey, Chauncey, I noticed in this game, Nurk and Eubanks play completely different coverage on pick and rolls, and Eubanks seems to jump it and automatically get switched into bad positions almost every time he's in the game. Is that something you want him to be doing, or like is that something that he's thinking or reading, making the wrong read, and you're trying to work with him on, or what? And I'd love to know the answer to that, like why it's so different between him and Nurk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be awesome to be able to ask those questions, but or have somebody ask those questions for us.
Yeah.
Would be great.
All right, but this was an awesome game, so enough with the negative. I just want to show a good play now. And this is another example of what I was talking about earlier when you're ready for the second. Sorry.
I'm on the second.
Okay.
We're here.
All right. So we can see the gravity of Dame and Ant on this play. So Dame is on fire, and Ant, he scored a couple buckets early, but hadn't really done anything for a while. And so Eubanks is going to set an away screen for Ant to come get the ball.
Yep, they run this all the time.
Yep, and it's cool because Dame doesn't have to, like in most situations, he'd be getting the screen here and they'd be running pick and roll and he'd have to create something. But now they can just pass to Ant and he can do it too. So they can take turns doing this. And Dame recognizes that he's going to get all the defensive attention on this play, or like he thought so going into this play. And so he's just going to pass over to Ant. And then Eubanks is going to run a simple pick and roll with him. Ant's going to come off, and he's going to dump it off to the rolling Eubanks, who catches the ball right at the top of the key. And so this is really good spacing because we have two people. We don't have Winslow and Watford and players in the game. We have our starting lineup just sans Nurkic and adding Eubanks. So the spacing's good with Hart and Grant in the corners. And for some reason, if I was breaking down Minnesota right here, I would be furious because as you go to the next slide, McDaniels should not leave Damian Lillard to guard Drew Eubanks in a situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
he made numerous mistakes today. My opinion on his defense changed a little bit.
Well, it's like, if you're tasked with guarding Damian Lillard, which he was, like most of the time he was in there, that's a situation where it's pretty, like, I know they weren't running a box and one, but it's pretty much like, you don't worry about the other 4 defenders. You do not leave Dame for any reason. Like, let Eubanks score. Like, I don't care. But if Dame hits a 3 wide open, you're in trouble. So Eubanks catches this, and he notices Hart's wide open in the corner. But then he also notices that 2 guys are, for some reason, both run to him. Like, it's so dumb. But so he then turns around and realizes that Dame's wide open. He just kicks out to Dame, and Dame had hit like 6 threes already at this point, and he gets another wide open one. Like, that's just very bad defense by Minnesota. But
yeah, look how much Dame has to move on this play.
Yeah, but like, this is like, he didn't even like do an off-ball screen or anything, and we got him a wide open 3. And this wasn't even pushing the ball up super fast either. It's just, you have guys who can make plays, scorers. You have a bunch of different guys that can do different things, and it creates a little bit of chaos, and it ends up with a wide open 3 by your best player.
And guess what? It could have been a wide open layup too if Hart cuts here.
Yep.
Like, at this point, you see your guy running forwards to Eubanks, cut.
Yeah.
Just cut. You know, and if that's Grant or Winslow or anyone, dude, like, shoot, honestly, Eric, if that was freaking me in the corner and I cut,
yeah,
that's a layup. Like, that's how bad the defense is. They're at the free throw line. There is nobody on that side of the court beneath the free throw line. Like, Hart should be at the block at this point, cutting, and it should be a wide open dunk. You know what I mean? Or a lob. Like, you can lob it for a layup or something. Like, or you got freaking Damian on fire Lillard, 11 for 17 for the game, wide open for 3. I mean, yeah, just terrible defense. But still, it's like, with Ant, this is why I love, you know, people talk about, like, Ant and Dame are redundant, right? And people said Dame and CJ were redundant, and they used that to say, like, the backcourt wouldn't work. That never made sense to me, because if you have Gary Trent Jr. running this pick and roll, he is not seeing this sort of defensive attention. And honestly, at this point, still, who knows if Gary Trent Jr. knows even how to make a pocket pass, right? Like, that dude doesn't pass the ball. But you got Ant, and since he's a Dame clone and redundant with Dame, right? They needs to get trapped because he's phenomenal. He's a 24-point per game scorer, great shooter. So they trap him. I mean, there's no perfect way to deal with this defensively after the trap, because you can't let Eubanks just go straight down the lane and dunk the ball, right? So what, you're going to help off Jerami Grant? Okay, then he's going to be open. Like, the only way to guard this is to help off Jerami Grant. Then Naz Reid knows to run to the corner to guard Jerami Grant. But it's hard to know that, okay, I go trap the pick and roll, then I run behind me to the corner. You know what I mean? Because if you help from the other side of the floor, like, even if McDaniel stayed on Dame, that's a dunk for Josh Hart. Or if the defender on Josh Hart stayed there and McDaniel's helped, it's a 3 for Dame.
Yeah.
So this is why having a guy who's redundant with Dame, which people would argue as if that's a bad thing with CJ in the past and even Ant now, it can help Dame, man. It can help Dame. Like, Ant being as respected as he is now, being such a lethal scorer, got Dame an open 3 here. And yeah, it wasn't an Ant assist, but this is why you can't just look at the box score. This starts with Ant being trapped right here. That's how that play starts.
Yep. And so go to the one where Eubanks is about to pass it. We have the one before this. Yeah, that one.
This
so
one.
We have the hottest player in this game by far doesn't move, like you said, on this possession more than a step. And this is why Minnesota is terrible, because there's no one within 10 feet. You know, and they just kick it out to him for a wide open 3. Like, how do you not? They don't even have someone on the same side of the floor right now as Damian Lillard. Like,
so bad.
Like, how can you be that bad? Like, it makes me thankful that our defense is at least like a couple spots better.
Yeah. Like, they've had an easy schedule. That's why their defensive rating might be higher, but that's why you look at adjusted defensive rating. Thank you for the breakdowns. Yeah. Also, go look at the play where Justice Winslow got, like, triple teamed on a drive and kicked it out to Dame for three, wide open in the corner in the first half. Like, I don't know what Minnesota was doing tonight, but Dame makes them pay. Like, we got guys that can make defenses pay for that sort of thing. That's never really been the issue. But, oh my goodness, Minnesota. I thought they'd come out with more of a defensive, like, effort and game plan here, playing us the second game in a row. Well, Anthony Edwards lied. He should, stick to acting, because he's actually pretty entertaining as an actor. If you guys know what movie reference, since honestly, I barely watch movies, so anytime I'm able to toss a movie reference out there, it doesn't matter if it's basketball related or not, I'm going to do it and feel good about myself that I know a movie reference. So, Anthony Edwards, pretty entertaining actor in the... what was that movie called? I don't even remember the movie.
What? Are you talking about
The Bo Cruise?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I'm blanking.
I don't remember the name of the movie.
Hustle or something?
Hustle, yeah, with Adam Sandler.
I was confused. I thought, because there's another actor that's named Anthony Edwards. It's like a white guy that's been in like a ton of movies and TV shows and stuff.
I don't know actors like that.
I was like confused if you were like making some weird non-Tory reference.
No, I'm just I don't know. I shouldn't even talk about movies because then I get all frazzled because it's such a foreign topic of discussion for me.
Do you know who Goose is?
Nope.
Okay.
What's a goose?
Never mind.
Geese? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. What? So, Cat coming back when? Eric, you're the injury expert.
I think he's still out at least a couple more weeks.
Yep, so we'll see how Minnesota responds, but yeah, tough couple losses. Anyway.
Maverick? You know Maverick?
The Dallas Mavericks?
No. Okay.
Anyway. I'm starting to scroll through Twitter. I need to focus up and end this stream. So, anything else you want to talk about on this Postgame show?
Nope, I'm good. Thank everyone for watching, but
I've never watched Top Gun.
Hope to see everyone after another Blazers victory on Wednesday evening.
People are saying there's no way I haven't watched Top Gun, Eric. You guys thought I was lying when I say I don't watch movies, like I don't get movie references at all. That's like one of my biggest weaknesses. I wasn't lying. Maybe I have watched Top Gun and completely forgot about everything about it. I don't know, but I don't know references. I watch sports, not movies. I'll watch freaking soccer before I watch a movie, man. I watch World Cup, I watch NASCAR, I watch football, I watch baseball, I watch basketball.
Trevin, have you seen Top Gun? I'm curious if he programmed the robot.
Yeah, I program him to watch my movies for me. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, here's my thing. I'll go to a movie theater and watch a movie. At home, I feel too cooped up, like cabin fever. Like I get super restless trying to watch a movie at home. I'll watch YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube. Because I don't get that same feeling. But watching a movie at home I just feel like I'm losing too much time, so to say. It's kind of weird. Like I get super restless and like I need to do something. So
well, I mean, the latest Top Gun was like the movie of the biggest blockbuster of the year this year.
That was this year?
Yeah. Well, the new one. There was a sequel. Cool. Almost 30 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know. I don't know. I do not know. I watch YouTube and sports. And I am YouTube and sports, so makes sense, right? Anyway, Blazers get the win tonight. 133-112. Dame pops off 11 threes. Fun to watch. Blazers are looking good again. It's fun again. 15-12. Sitting tied for 5th in the Western Conference. Only a game back of Phoenix for 4th. They got a road trip coming up, 6-game road trip. That'll take us through Christmas. Next home game will be December 26th. We only have one more home game until our watch party on January 2nd. That's, because 7 of the next 8 games are on the road. Hopefully you guys enjoy early games, earlier stream start times, because we're going to have some earlier streams. Might try and do a watch party or 2 before Christmas. We will see. I'll let you guys know if we do that. With everything being coded, it will be easier to go to different graphics and whatnot during live games, like these player cards and whatnot will update throughout a game. So that'll be cool. That was sort of the plan with it, and then everything up top also will update throughout a game as well. So anyway, Blazers get the win. It was fun to be at. It was fun to finally go to a game this year. We'll be back again on Wednesday, right?
Wednesday night. Yep.
Wednesday night.
Have you seen either Space Jam movie, Madden Mobile?
Nope.
Interesting.
Any other movies you want to ask me if I haven't seen or not?
The answer is probably no.
Okay, I've watched Titanic, Taylor. I've watched Titanic. Okay.
You can
very
sit through
touching
that,
story.
4-hour movie, but you.
I mean, I watched it the year after high school, I think, and I probably watched it with another person. Yeah, it's Titanic. It's so freaking romantic. It was probably part of a fun night. I don't know. Anyway. I've seen Avatar. Okay, I've seen Avatar. All right. See, okay, I'm not completely uncultured.
There's a new Avatar movie coming out this week.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch that. We'll see. Probably not, but maybe, because I watched the first one. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, Tori doesn't support Dame, man. Sad.
Man, I listen to Dame's music, so that counts, right? I don't anymore, but I used to bump Dame music going to games, and I was diehard. So, anyway,
did you ask the person who you were with if you could paint her like one of your French girls?
What?
Never mind. I knew you weren't gonna get that reference. It's from Titanic, so yeah, never mind.
Paint me like one of your French girls? That sounds familiar. I don't know.
Someone please clip that.
It's not familiar enough for me to know to just roll with it, man. I am not good with movie references. Anyway,
Zach, are you still? Aeromancer's got me, I think.
Aeromancer definitely got you. God damn it. Way to run it in. Tori ultimately decided to let go of the piece of scrap wood and drift into the murky deep. Well, in college, I took ice baths, all right? So I actually think I could handle...
Oh.
Yeah, I think I could deal with that. I think I'm built different, And... Anyway. Anyway, well, we'll be live again on Wednesday with Postgame Show. Then Thursday we'll have Blazers Uprise live, second channel, subscribe to that. And then Friday and Saturday streams. So tomorrow, day off, I'm going to go play some basketball, which will be nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to get out and play.
Yeah, my legs were dead after last week. God damn it, Taylor. Taylor's always on Rip City Reddit, so god damn it. That's like twice in the last week, man. That's all I talk about. Anyway, Kieran, you're right. It was a door. Aeromancer, I'm disappointed in you. Learn the Titanic. Watch the Titanic. Anyway, yeah, I was too busy with my college days to watch movies. Yeah, no, honestly, all we watched was The freaking Office with the people I stayed with for the first 2 months. They only watched The Office, and they got super high, and I didn't smoke weed, but I got contact high, which kind of sucked, but, I'm not somebody, I don't judge people, but yeah, they just smoked weed and watched The Office and constantly, and that was it. And then I played way too much 2K in my college days. That's one of the reasons I hate 2K now, Eric. All anyone wanted to do was play freaking 2K. So, I'm not a 2K fan either. I'm just a hater is what I am. Anyway, thank you guys for...
This might have to wait for the off season, but we should do, like, Tori watches a classic movie and gives a review on it or something.
Wait, if you're on Twitch, are you able to, like, watch movies? I think, like, you're able to buy and watch a movie with your stream.
Are you? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to start a Twitch channel or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll start my own Twitch channel. That would be fun. That'd be cool. But anyway, I'm so geared towards talking basketball. It's kind of weird at this point to even talk about anything other than basketball. So I need to, diversify my life, I guess.
You could DoorDash like a restaurant you've never ate before, and be like a food and movie critic.
Yeah, IRL streams. Yeah, I'll dox myself. Hell yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll do fun stuff next offseason for sure. But the Blazers are just getting started, I think. Looking forward to the rest of this year. Looking forward to Wednesday and trying to get a win on the road against the San Antonio Spurs. And then Thursday, Blazers Uprise Live. I'll try and follow up my good day today, 6-2 today, and picks against spread for me. I'll try and follow that up on Thursday. Hopefully you guys are able to tune in for that. Once again, join our Discord. Link in the description box below. Bunch of good things in the description box for you to click upon. Anyway, fun game tonight. Blazers get the win. Love to see it. We'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday. Until then, we're out of here. As always, peace out. Go Blazers!